All right, people, what is going on? What is going on? This is another episode of the VF Cast, episode number 23. I know I just got finished doing a lot of other content. Today has just pretty much been a day I've been doing a lot of, like I said, content in general. I just got finished doing something on the other channel, and I'm doing one on this channel, and I'm also going to be working on the next episode of the First and Frame Rate show, which will be up Thursday morning. So I've been pretty busy between this, being, gaming and all this other stuff. It's just been a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to get right into this. This episode, we're going to be talking about bad releases of games. Why is this constantly a problem? It's pretty much obvious, but we're going to talk about it anyway. These new consoles, what do I think about these consoles? They've been out for about a year now. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And you already know how I feel about my personal gaming, situation. And we're going to talk about that and going forward. So a good bit of things on deck. I'm not going to try to take up too much of you guys' time, but let's get right into this. These bad releases, man, why this keep happening? I don't understand why this keep happening. You got the Cyberpunk situation. Why do we need to go through that again? Now you have a situation with the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, and you have Battlefield 2042. It has its problems as well. You got, you know what? You also have to keep in mind that Halo Infinite was going to be one of these games that's going to be like this last year or earlier or the middle of last year. But unfortunately, they pulled back. They went and got the game polished, and it's totally the opposite of what we're talking about now. Maybe I'll talk about that game at another time. The game's supposed to be released and I'll play the campaign or whatever. But why does this keep happening? It's simple. It's very simple. Money. Grand Theft Auto Rockstar thought they can get the Grand Theft Auto trilogy out there around the November, December time, make some money for the holidays, get people to buy these products, or buy these games, and make money. No matter the quality. I mean, these companies be knowing how bad these games come out. They know. They're not surprised. They just know they can get away with it because we as gamers buy these products, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute as well. Same thing with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was notorious. They even admitted that they knew it wasn't ready to go, but they did it anyway, and they pretty much felt the brunt of that because nobody really wants to play that game now. Like nobody, I don't think too many people are buying the game in general. I think they just burned the bridge so bad that nobody plays that game. Now, I'm willing to go back and play it. I'm about halfway done with it. I got it on PC. I thought it was pretty cool. But I can understand when people be like, no, we ain't got time. I totally get it. Battlefield 2042, everybody's saying that the beta was kind of jacked up. And I was like, I didn't touch it. I'm not playing it. And I'll give you my reason for that later. But I look at the list of things that was not in the game or just stuff that's, the game, things that are just wrong with the game, how bad it's downvoted. I was like, wow, how do a Battlefield game get this far behind? It's really, really unfortunate that a game like Battlefield 4 was just so good at what it does. And in even some cases, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 came a long way as well. But now, Battlefield 5 is a pretty decent game now. But at one point, it was just terrible. And I think that's one of the things where a lot of these companies bank on, like, hey, we'll release it now. We'll give out an apology. We'll fix it later. Everything's going to be great. Yeah, give it a No Man's Sky treatment and it's going to be okay. But like, one thing I will say about us gamers, no matter what, no matter when, and no matter how, whenever you put a game out, we're going to buy it if it's good. It doesn't have to be around this Christmas time. It doesn't have to be around, tax time or whatever. Yes, obviously that stuff helps, but they don't need to do that. To be honest, they don't. Just put the game out in a good playable state where there's no real underlying or forefront bugs. We're going to buy these games. We will come up with the money to buy them. And I'm not just saying hardcore gamers. I'm talking about like gamers in general. To the casual, to the hardcore, we'll buy these games. So I don't understand why these companies get so greedy. And it sounds good in the beginning, but on the back end, when it's all said and done, I feel like a lot of these companies lose a lot of money pulling off these practices, because people will continue to buy these games and it will spread if the game is good. If you got this bad press, for most people, all it takes is one time to give off a bad impression. Even if they purchase that game, I promise you, they will not be telling other people to buy the game. They'll tell you straight up, they won't recommend it. And no matter whatever patches and bugs and fixes you get, you will not sell. I mean, yeah, patches and bugs that you fix, you will not get that same sell for full price whenever you fix this game. People will probably end up buying the game at a discount. They'll probably get it when it's like super, super cheap on Steam. People are not going to be buying these games like that. They're just not. If you put it out this way, my main thing is what you should do, what anybody should do if they're developing games, just take your time. We will buy these games. Trust me. We will buy. Look at The Last Guardian. I think that was The Last Guardian. I think that was a game that was supposed to be out ever since back on the PS2 era. Kept getting delayed. And I know that's not a quality control situation, but when games are constantly being worked on, people, I can say gamers have the type of patience to be like, you know what? We're going to wait. We don't have a problem with waiting. Just do it right. I promise you. Oh my God. I promise you that people will buy the games no matter what. The only thing that this type of game stuff applies to maybe like with sports titles, because roster updates are really important. Cosmetics nowadays, for some reason, cosmetics is real important. So you gotta have like the new basketball court, or the stadium needs to be upgraded, or let's say the football game has a new helmet, or whatever the case may be. Those designs, for some reason, the cosmetics are real big important for sports titles now. So not only rosters, but the look of the game has to be on point. So those type of games may not benefit from pushing the game back in some cases. In most cases, it won't. So with that being said, they have to find a way to make those work out the gate, which that's a totally different issue. I'm not even going to the sports game inside of things right now. I'm not going to do that. But I will say that for these other titles, take off, another year or so. I mean, I know you got investors or whatever case may be, but I promise you, if you take your time and people know that you're taking your time, you're going to be rewarded for it. People are not going to forget about your games. People are not going to forget to purchase your game. People are not going to forget to play your games. And the fact that you're taking your time to put these games out in a good fashion, in a really good state, you're going to be rewarded for it. People will buy these games. People don't forget good games. I promise you they don't. With that being said, I'm going to get into this later, why I play these older consoles behind me. You see, I got a Nintendo AVS, a Super Nintendo, a Genesis. If you look over, I got the N64. I got all of the old stuff behind me, even down here on this other TV down here. You don't forget old games. Now, all my new stuff is right here next to me. I mean, I got that so I can hook it up to my computer a lot easier. I mean, like for capturing or whatever. But you don't forget the old games. That's the thing that you have to understand. And developers don't see, they just see money. They see greed. They see all of that. And I'll talk about this stuff when I get to the personal gaming side of stuff, because I want to talk about that. But it don't have to be like this. I don't know who will listen to this. I know this is a fairly small channel. This is my secondary channel. I don't really talk about, I don't really, have that much traction like I have as others. But I will continue to say it for anybody who wants to hear. Just put the games out properly. I promise you, people will buy them. Yes, they will buy them. You don't need to go down this route. Your investors are one thing, but trust me, the investors don't know what they're doing. At the end of the day, when it comes to releasing proper games, all they see is greed and money. If they look at the product being good, you're going to get that money. Trust me. But hey, that's enough of that. Let's talk about these new consoles. I have an Xbox Series S. I didn't buy X. I didn't buy PS5. I did say I was going to get one eventually. Day by day, that diminishes. It pretty much does. I every day I look around, I have my Series S, and I know it's expensive to buy the hard drive, the little small little proprietary hard drive that goes with it. I'm more inclined to buy that and put more games on my S than actually buying a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. And there's one game on PS5 I want to play so bad. I want to play the new Ratchet and Clank. I really do. But is it worth that money? I'm not really sure. But maybe one day I'll get one. But that's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a good while. I mean, I can wait to play the Ratchet and Clank on the PS5. I have other Ratchet and Clank games that I want to play and finish, so I'm not really worried about that. But these new consoles, I think they're a phenomenal piece of technology. I'm not going to sit here and say they're terrible. There's nothing cool about them. That's not true. The main thing is it for me? Is it for you? To be honest, the people who bought these consoles, are you getting your money's worth? Now, some people may get their money's worth by playing Madden, probably getting their money's worth playing 2K, probably playing Returnal, probably playing Godfall, even the Ratchet and Clank series. In any of these new Ghost of Tsushima, any of these games that they're playing on a PlayStation 5 where they get that higher fidelity and performance, they probably feel like, that's $500 well spent, $400 well spent. Nothing wrong with that. But for me, I will say this. I paid $299 for this S, and it's probably one of the best investments I've ever had. Between that, buying games to put on it, and on top of that, with the Game Pass, I mean, I don't see why anybody would not want to have this device. It's phenomenal. I mean, I cannot stop playing some of the games on Game Pass, even though I am a big proponent of owning my stuff. Obviously, you see behind me, I like to own copies of these games. Now, I'm not that big. I'm not too much against buying digital copies of games. I'm not too good for it. I'm willing to do it. The only thing is I need to know if I'm going to purchase this and it's going to be mine. Shout out to Sony. Sony has done a phenomenal job of getting rid of the CMOS problem. All the games that you buy, physical or digital, on that, they will continue to work on your console for years and years to come, long as you keep your stuff in order. Because at one point, the CMOS battery issue was a problem where none of the games would work, even the digital ones. So for you to not, play the games that you purchase is a big deal to me. Now I need to know if that's going to be the case on this Xbox, because they say that they have a CMOS issue as well. Now the Game Pass stuff, I'm not necessarily worried about Game Pass. Some of those games I'm just going to play because I got the subscription. If they're epic, legendary games in my eyes, games that I say that, hey, I can go back and play this when I get ready, I want to, I will probably purchase that game, whether it be physical or digital. Now, obviously, physical is not going to do me no good because I have the Xbox Series S, but let's say sometime down the road I do get an X. If I find an X for pretty cheap or whatever the case may be, I will have no problem buying a physical copy. So, and another thing, a lot of these games that are on the Xbox Series, they actually work for the Xbox One, which I have an Xbox One as well. So it's not one of the reasons why. It's one of the reasons why I'm looking like, why should I get a new console? The PlayStation 5, I'm looking forward to Gran Turismo 7. That's going to be on PS4 as well. Godfall is on PS4. I can get Godfall on PC if I wanted to. It's on the Epic Game Store, so I can get that. There's like the only exclusive that I know that I really want to play is Ratchet and Clank. That's the only one I know I want to play. All the other games, Horizon, the new God of War, all that's supposed to come to the PS4 as well. So I'm looking at the PS5 like, what is now 2021, about to be 20, probably like 2026, 2025, God willing, I'm still around. I'll probably buy one then, and by then it'll probably be like $200 or something like that. Who knows? It'll probably be $200. I'll probably buy one then, and then I'll be playing the latest and greatest. And that's the thing. I'm not really big on buying the latest and greatest no more. I'm not. Have you seen like some of the VF casts? I mean, not the VF, but the VF pickups I've been doing. I've been having a blast playing older titles. So new consoles, I think they're phenomenal. If you want to get one, I highly recommend you get one. But for me, I'm good with the S. I think the S is great. And I'm gonna tell you something about that. It's a 1440p machine, and I know people don't want to hear this, but you put this thing at 1080p. Put on a 1080p monitor. Like right here, I have a 1080p monitor, 144 frames. You put it at 1080p at 104. You get a lot of games that run at that at 120 easy, or higher than 60. Like for instance, like Super Lucky Tales, and I know Super Lucky Tales is it's a platformer. It should be easy to run that. I can run that at 120 frames at 1080p on my monitor, and the frame rate is much more important to me than resolution. Now, I want the resolution I'm playing at to be a clean resolution. I don't want it to be like a blurry 720p or a blurry 1080p. I want it to be a clean, crisp resolution, but I want that frame rate. The frame rate is, to me, that's what's happening. So with that being said, I'm good as far as that, and that goes back to personal gaming. We can talk about that now. Personal gaming, I'm just having a blast playing these games now. Like you see right here, I set up my old CRT computer, PC CRT, the old fat monitor. I got my Dreamcast set up on there. Both of my Dreamcasts are set up on this because the Dreamcast is built for these type of monitors. Beautiful look. Behind me, the big TV back there, I got my old consoles on there. This TV right here has all my 6th generation stuff on it. Now I have another TV over here, which is more of a HD CRT, which, that's really built for 6th generation consoles. I'm going back and forth. Should I switch back and forth between that TV and this TV? So I'm in a good space. As far as my 4K TV, that's for television. I watch straight TV. I don't game on that anymore. If I was to game on it, I may put my mini consoles like the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation Mini. I may put the mini consoles on it because it just, for some reason, just feel like that's where they need to be. But as far as the big consoles, I feel like it's either CRT televisions, like the old TVs, or monitors for the PlayStation 3 on up. PlayStation 2 is the HD CRTs, the HD projection TVs, original Xbox, GameCube, 6th generation, perfect for those. So that's where I am as far as personal gaming. And going forward, which I will probably close out with this because, I like to do around 20 minutes on these videos, on these episodes. I need to get a new chair because my chair keeps dropping. But that's another story for another. See, my chair keeps dropping. That is another story for another day. I'm just going to continue to just game and talk about these games. It's like, I don't like these bad releases, these new consoles, whatever the case may be. I like them, but it's just like now the creativity is like dying. You don't see nothing, new. Like I remember one of my friends, Scott, on Twitter, he said, he said that there's nothing new. The creativity is gone. Everything has been done. There's nothing new to be wowed about. It's either first person shooter, third person shooter, platformer, battle royale, which is nothing but another first person shooter, strategy based, puzzle based. There's no new genre that you can really, create. I guess you can. I mean, nothing is, necessarily, nothing is limited. But it seems like these gaming corporations just not able to, or the game developers or whatever, they're not able to bring about new ideas. And unfortunately, it's kind of, it's kind of, disheartening. But at the end of the day, when you really look at these games, like I said, from the first person shooters, the platformers, the fighting games, the puzzle games, the strategy, the sports titles, there's a lot to play. I feel at the end of the day, I have enough games now for the rest of my life, and I'm thankful for that. I put in the work. I collected these games, and I'm in a good space overall. I don't necessarily have to go out and pick up any more games, but I do it because I love it. And I think at the end of the day, I think that's something that we all need to realize. Do this because you love it. Don't do it because a YouTuber says so. Don't do it because a YouTuber influenced you to. And I know it's hard and everybody's not going to follow that because they feel that, if a YouTuber's doing it, they entice them to do it as well. But at the end of the day, your personal satisfaction, your personal enjoyment trumps all of that. I've seen it too many times. People buy products and have buyer's remorse. They try to play these games when they really don't want to, but they do it because they see other people doing it. It happens all the time. And I've got to the point where I stopped doing that. I had to stop doing it because I was one of those people. I was one of those people that like, look, I have to buy the PlayStation 4. I had to buy the PS4 Pro. I got to get the Xbox One. I got to get the Xbox One S. And around the Xbox One S came out, and I ended up buying another PS4. I I got rid of my PS4. I ended up buying another because of The Last of Us 2. That's one game I really wanted to play. But around that time, I stopped and said, you know what? I don't need to do this. I don't need to buy stuff because it's new. I need to buy stuff because of what I like and what I want to play. And that's where I started doing the pickup videos, and I started playing, and I started streaming games that I found was interesting. And at the end of the day, I'm glad that everybody who does support, but at the end of the day, I feel so much better about my gaming choices, and you should do the same. Do not get in this cycle where you feel like you have to do it because you become miserable, and you see it on social media all the time. People are miserable because of this stuff, and it's disheartening. So hopefully you take my advice. Hopefully you like this content. I don't like what's going on with these newer stuff, but the older stuff is keeping me afloat. And maybe one day, you'll take that same route and just start looking at buying games for one console that you was fond of. You see how that goes. Maybe it'll change your whole outlook on things as well. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this, hit the like button, share this video, share this episode, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like I said, this channel is small, but I'm gonna continue to help it grow, and I want you guys to help me push it along. I'll also be doing content on the First and Frame Rates channel as well. Go check that out. I talk about Georgia Southern football and Atlanta Falcons football. So hopefully you guys take it easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.